Hello everybody and welcome to Summer Street for round 2 of NPL Victoria action. Both sides are out on the pitch, but it looks like both sides are going to be having a minute silence, so we will respect that. And a beautifully observed minute silence here for Milka Simra, who was born in 1926, immigrated to Australia with her husband in 1956. The family has a strong connection with the club from foundation members. Her son, Angelko, was the club's longest-serving president as well as the current president of Melbourne, Croatia. And the Victorian football community pays their respects. So both sides are out on the pitch here for the Melbourne Knights' first home game of the season. We can go through the starting lineups. It is Hadi Chakaroon in goal for the Melbourne Knights with Dennis Yildiz, Nick Petrillo, Joey Franjic, Enasevic, Nikola Jokovic, Connor Mcdonald, Anthony Druzel, Gian Albano, John Basito and Hamish Watson. On the bench, it's Jordan Gifkins, Nick Glavan, Marcus Duncan, Calvin Whitney and Caleb Mikulich. Matthew Breeze out of the squad with his red card last weekend. And it is Anthony Druzel into the starting lineup for the Dandenong Thunder. Francis O'Ali back in goal. The back four of Chris Hatfield, Mercer Mehmeti, Keegan Sheridan, Alan Puppy, Ali Suleimani, Kostas Stradamitros, Harley Orr, Zelfi Nazari, Giuseppe Marafiotti and Brandon Barnes up top. We're just about ready for kickoff. Lockie Keever's the man in the middle, and we are away here at Summer Street. And just quickly, the bench for the Thunder, Noah Kalamata, Jamal Ali, Arjun Mehmeti, Paul Kual and Mohammed Fizi. My name is Chris Gleeson, and welcome to the commentary once again, Brandon Galgano.
Chris, fantastic night for football here tonight, and yes, the return to Knight Stadium with Victorian football for the new decade in 2020. And well, a big night for them, of course, after a well-earned 1-1 draw last week, despite going down to 10 men for the majority of that game. I think that tonight represents a great opportunity to kickstart their season. A lot of talk about them in the off-season, and if they could potentially crack into the final series again for the first time in a few years. But I think for the Dandenong Thunder, of course, a really resounding victory last week, a last-minute winner from who else but Brandon Barnes on his return to the Dandenong Thunder starting lineup. And well, I think that for them, a great chance to go 2 wins from 2 and really kickstart their season.
Yeah, definitely on that high with Brandon Barnes, who to get to play a bit of football in the off-season in England and tried his luck in Greece. And it is the Thunder at the moment. Stradamitros over the top, looking for Marafiotti, and it's easy for Hadi Chakaroon.
Chakaroon there again as well. Another one who's really stepped into that #1 goalkeeper role. A long-term prospect who came through the youth ranks and tries to play it forward there, but given away poorly. Now try to get it forwards in towards Barnes, but Melbourne Knights get it under control. Of course, has been a little bit of a changing of the guard in the off-season as well. A few very experienced campaigners, the likes of Marijan Svitkovic and a few others who are no longer at the club after such a long and illustrious history here. It will be interesting to see this season just how they get themselves through that change, of course. Svitkovic did take over towards the end of the season. A few others as well, the likes of Aidan Bryce moving on, Mohammed Awad, of course, going to Port Melbourne where they played last week. So again, Chris, it will be interesting just to see. I I think that, will it be the year that Knights sort of make their return to the top tier, of this Victorian football scene after a few disappointing campaigns?
A little bit like their long-time rival South Melbourne, just fallen out of finals calculation the last couple of years. And did get the opportunity to make the national rounds again of the FFA Cup last year. And there's big things expected by Stuart Munro's squad that they've put together.
Well, look, a few good signings, I think, in the off-season as well. One interesting one I was talking about off-air was John Buscetto, who obviously returns from a long stint in Europe. And this is a lad who, in the junior ranks coming up through the state teams and under-13s and under-14s, was quite a highly valued prospect. It was in the VIS at quite a young age as well, towards the end of that sort of regime. Went to Europe quite young, and it didn't quite work out making the big leagues, although he played at quite a decent level. As Watson there flicks it into a good little bit of space, and maybe a chance here to cross on the outside for the Melbourne Knights. It's Albano on the ball. Cuts inside there, and Buscetto it was who got the ball under control, but Stratomitros got across in the nick of time. Now the Dandenong Thunder can come forwards and away.
Emmanuel has let us know what happened to Hughes, who the Melbourne Knights signed. Well, Hamish Watson ended up coming back with clubs only allowed to have 2 visa players, and made the choice to let Hughes go after signing him to allow Hamish Watson to come back into the squad. And it is a Thunder free kick. They take it quickly. Here's Harley Orr in the middle of Summer Street.
There was a fair bit of conjecture about Hamish Watson's movements in the off-season, weren't there, Chris?
Well, it seemed like he's come back to the Melbourne Knights via St Albans. So what a big signing that would have been for the newly promoted club, as it's out wide with Hatfield. Goes out for a throw. So it is Dandenong Thunder in the away kit of white. Melbourne Knights in their traditional red shirts, white shorts and blue socks with the checkers. Suleimani to throw it in. Now Hatfield. Now Suleimani to cross it in near post, and it's well dealt with by the Knights, and it's out for a corner.
Well, again, I think there's just going to be a matter of how can they adjust to this. Obviously slight bigger ground as well. Last week against Dandenong City was quite an intense contest. Of course, a fierce rivalry between the two of them as well. And I think that really helped the Thunder really get through that game, because they were just so ferocious in the way that they attacked the ball, and they just kept coming throughout the whole game as well. I think that, of course, buoyed by, again, another one, Brandon Barnes, who we say he's returned, just like Hamish Watson, but really hadn't really left. If you look at, league games, he was there the last game of the season, of course, in the playoff, and is now back after round 1. But, a bit of time away in the off-season where they thought they might have lost their key marksman. And, again, he's going to be just so important, and he'll be key tonight as well, as always. Can they really get him on the ball in those dangerous areas? Because, as we saw last week, just absolutely ruthless in front of goal. And it really made a massive difference, of course, winning in the game.
Really only needs those half chances. The most clinical finisher, I believe, in NPL Victoria, and he's been that for quite a few years. Marafiotti trying to get on it, and Sevic gets the ball out for a throw. There's Mercer Mehmeti to throw the ball back in. Zofi Nazari. Right, Suleimani in the end was bundled over. The referee, Lachlan Keever, says play on, boys. Looked like a fair old shove, but the game goes on with Alan Puppy. Now Hatfield. Good 1-2 out wide as Barnes makes his way into the box. Hatfield looks up there, but the cross is deflected again and out for another corner.
Some good little forward play there from the Dandenong Thunder. They've started off quite strongly here. Just looking to use the width of their fullbacks, and Hatfield, another one who loves to get advanced. Another fellow off-season signing for the Dandenong Thunder was Hatfield. Of course, joining across from Lions FC in the NPL Queensland. So, again, another one of NPL experience coming across. And he's on the ball again here, Hatfield, on the edge of the area. Look to potentially cross the ball. He's just blocked off well there by Knights. Gets onto his left, and the shot blocked. Comes out a second time now, and a potential chance to cross it. Oh, into the middle, but a poor delivery. And again, it's just cleared away. Now will be looked to be held up here by Albano. He's stripped of it again. Good ball into the box as well. And Chakarun looked like he almost might have lost it mid-flight there. And in the end, it looks like the official has indicated for a corner. So couldn't quite keep it in, the young goalkeeper. But again, the Dandenong Thunder looking to overload in those wide areas and get those early deliveries into the box. And the Melbourne Knights just struggling at the moment to really keep the ball above their defensive third.
There's a very eagle-eyed fourth official there looking up the line. Just that little fumble. It was an awkward moment for Chakarun right at his back post. Some of those can creep in. Now the Thunder stay on the attack with this corner. Near post cross Hatfield. It's headed away from him. Masivic, and then the long range shot by Mercer Mehmeti, and that's well over the top.
Yeah, look, an ambitious effort there from Mehmeti. Give him credit for trying, and I guess he is, you know, a left back or centre back who can come forward and hasn't really been known to score many goals. But again, I think the Dandenong Thunder will be pleased with this start, and it is something which, you know, Sam Elmazi, of course, coming back into, you know, top flight Victorian football management after such a long time, you know, be pleased with how the players, I think, have reacted, you know, in these first few weeks. Of course, starting off with a derby like last week can be, you know, a good or bad thing, really. You know, it can sometimes galvanise you to get off to a fantastic start. All of a sudden, you feel like you've had 3 wins rather than 1. But then at the same time, if it doesn't go well, obviously, then, you know, you're sort of behind the 8 ball a little bit. But I think a really good result for them, and you can just see quite high on confidence so far starting this game.
We do sort of apologise if the sun will get in the way before it disappears behind the stand over the next 5 to 10 minutes. At the moment, it's been all thunder, so the sun hasn't really affected the game as much so far. Now, here's the Knights back with the ball. Joey Thranjic back to his goalkeeper. Now it's haphazardly put in the middle. Kostas Stratometros and Harley Orr. Now they've moved the ball out well. Mehmeti fires it through. Nazari trying to chase after that. Chakaroon off his line quickly and sends it into the stand. Yeah,
again, just looking for that direct spearing pass in behind, and some good movement as well from the wingers to try and get themselves onto that. But again, the Thunder, they have always looked to play a quite direct style of football, and it hasn't really changed as much. They're just looking to isolate their targets a little bit better there, and have won a throw in a decent area though, and looking to get plays around the ball here. Can they look to maybe get a ball into the box that comes out again and cross his blocks, so they just fall out towards the halfway line, and they might backtrack all the way to their central defender now. Oh, he was almost picked there, was Sheridan. In the end, he's just managed to keep the ball and divert it out for a throw at the least. Now Knights will look to come forward here through Watson. He's lost it. Now Buschetto on the ball. Looks to cut inside. Again, cleared high and wide. And now maybe a chance for Thunder to come forward here through Barnes, who cuts in well past his man, does Brandon Barnes. And this is a position that he does like. He's brought down in the edge of the box, and it will be a free kick. In a dangerous area here.
I think it might have been a little bit more dangerous if he was allowed to strike that, knowing Brandon Barnes looking to try to curl it in the top corner, but at least now they can put a wall in front of it. But lucky to get away with no booking as well. But
I think that he just yielded his there, just allowed him to get goal side of him a little bit too easily, and that was just a moment. That's where Brandon Barnes is so good. A lot of talk is made about his fitness state, and yes, I would say that I think a lot of people would agree he's not the fittest player, but my word, he's used his body so well there to roll his man and get into a good goal-scoring position.
Now it's going to be Barnes over the ball. Zulfi Nazari, the Afghanistan international, over it as well, but sort of expect him to step aside for the Dandy Thunder captain. And he does step over it. It is Barnes trying to clip it near post. It's well deflected away, but Barnes will get the chance to put a cross into the back post. Soleimani won't get there, and it's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed with that, Brandon Barnes, because it's a really good range for him as well, especially for a left footer. I would have liked to have seen him maybe wrap his boot really around that and maybe test the goalkeeper early, his side of the wall. It is always an early tester, especially for a younger goalkeeper like Chakarun, who, of course, you know, is experienced at this level and is a very good goalkeeper as well. But again, you know, even seeing a few maybe half early jitters with some crosses coming into the box, and maybe you could have seen him try and really test him out there. But again, some good early siders here for the Thunder. It's interesting to see as well. Looks like, of course, Marafiotti and Barnes playing quite close to each other, you know, with two strikers. It's not something you really see as much anymore these days in Australian football, of course, with the big, you know, obsession with the 4-3-3 and a sole number 9. But worked well last week, obviously, so it could be a good chance for them to try and get a few more goals.
He's hit 3 goals in round 1 in that victory over Dandenong City. Barnes 2, Marafiotti 1. As Barnes was trying to head the ball in the direction of Marafiotti. And the Knights will get it away. And it's been a slow start by the home side. Albano now on the ball and clips it over the top And it's going to be Connor McDonald. Has to slow things up. Albano gets it back. Yilda's on the outside, and so goes McDonald with the cross, and Francis Sawali at the near post is in the action for the first time.
Yeah, again, I think the Sawali is another one who's come across with a lot of experience out in WA, of course. Has won a few championships over there. Big and strong, imposing goalkeeper as well. But some good overloading play there from the Melbourne Knights. And again, that's where they're looking quite dangerous. You know, last week as well, just in that ability to overload in wide areas and just get the deliveries into the box. Now, does come inside into Marafiotti. He's got Barnes in a bit of space here, and this is where he could be dangerous. The ball just didn't quite sit for him. He still whipped a good ball across the box. It comes out to Stratometros this time. But again, just couldn't quite get any purchase on the shot. I guess Brandon Barnes, he'd be a little bit disappointed with that one there. Had the chance for a moment to maybe get that ball out his feet. Now Watson, he uses it well. And on this left-hand side is Albano, who cuts it on his right and finishes. John Albano only needed one chance, and just moments after Brandon Barnes had a half opportunity at one end, it's Jan Albano who cut inside on his right so fantastically well and has absolutely drilled that into the bottom corner for 1-0 Melbourne Knights. A fantastic counter-attacking goal, and a lot of Hamish Watson involved in that as well, Chris.
And that's what Watson does. He holds the ball up well, drags a couple of defenders towards him. That opened up the space for Gian Albano, who did well to cut inside and then faked the keeper out. Keeper expecting it to go to his far post, curled it in the near post. And the Melbourne Knights take that opportunity and they lead here at Summer Street.
Again, it was just a matter of how quickly they could counter-attack, and we talked about that opportunity to get Watson involved in the game as well. And he just used his body so well there to roll his man and just slip Albano in some space. And well, for the Melbourne Knights, it's the perfect start. Of course, they did go 1-0 up last week as well. Of course, they were down to 10 men, and it was a real good battle to keep themselves in that game. But you just see the confidence now, and of course the Dandenong Thunder as well. They did find themselves in a difficult situation last week against City. Of course, coming back and winning that game in the end. So we'll see pretty early on another test of character as well.
And just going back before, the ball really didn't set for Barnes. This time it does. He's controlled it well, looking for support. And he's got that in Ali Suleimani, who the ball will eventually find him. And the shot was goal bound, but Nazari got in the way, his own teammate. And in the end, he can't keep it in with a heavy touch and out for a goal kick. But just walking across the ground pre-game, they've resurfaced this over the summer. It looks $1 million, this Summer Street pitch, but it is very, very slow. It's very soft, and you'll see that the ball will hold up quite a bit. And even before with Barnes, when he was trying to get the ball into a shooting stride, he just left it a bit short, and it's just because the ground's quite slow here.
Yeah, well, of course, I think all the grounds in Melbourne were tested by this summer rain this week. And again, it was just absolutely pouring down. And a lot of grounds do struggle to recover, especially in this summer period as well, where a lot of these, surfaces haven't really been worn in by the winter. But again, Watson getting the ball down and not able to quite turn his man there. Of course, the value of Hamish Watson was important again last week, of course, with having to hold up play, almost quite isolated, of course, going down to 10 men. But I think for Dandenong Thunder now, after starting quite brightly as well, will certainly be looking to try and get themselves back into this contest. Disappointing, really, from them, considering they've had probably the better share of possession in this first 15 or so minutes. Now it is a chance for Knights to come forward again, potentially. Just Bruschetto dropping in on the ball now, and strong win of possession there by Stratometros. In the end, it is cleared, and we'll go out for a throw in there for the Dandenong Thunder.
Thunder back on track, but said 70 minutes they played with a man less last week, Melbourne Knights, with that Matthew Bree shocking challenge, which ended up seeing him suspended for 9 weeks. They're still able to be quite resilient towards the end before Francesco Stella equalised after that solo Hamish Watson goal, gave them the lead. As Harley Orr heads it down, Suleimani looking for Barnes. Petrillo cuts that out. And now the Knights can move again. Albano, the goal scorer, cuts inside of Helen Papi. Now Giselle will switch it out wide. He's overhit that one though, looking for Bassetto. It's out for a throw.
And again there, just not that much time on the ball. Thunder still looking to try and press and just close out that space in midfield. Again there, Giselle just overhitting the pass. But you can just see, interestingly as well, both of the wingers from Melbourne Knights dropping quite deep centrally to get onto the ball. John Bruschetto, another one who He's quite adept playing out wide or in a central position. As we said, it'll be interesting to see just what he can do. I think so, more so in the final third, if they can try and get him on the ball in there. So throw-in is taken, it's headed down again, and it could fall in dangerous position. A half chance there with the shot from long range, but Chakarun holding that with ease, and again, the Melbourne Knights able to get themselves on the ball and move it forwards out of the back.
Now it's with Albano again, dropping quite deep to pick up the ball. In the end, he's tripped over himself. Papi goes into midfield. Stratamitra, strong challenge in there. Couple from the Knights, and they get the ball through Watson. Out wide, Basetto's the target, and as we said, with that ball just sitting up on the turf, cut back to the penalty spot, missed everybody. Who wants it? Everyone stands around, and in the end, they come through to the Knights, but the pass was left a little bit too short. Another Knights try to move it forward. Now it's Harley Orr coming across from Perth Soccer Club. It's the Thunder goalkeeper, Soali, and Nazari. Once again, just miscommunication between him and Barnes, and the Knights get it back.
A chance here to come forward again as well. Yildiz just comes in centrally here, and now the switch of play there from Mcdonald, who's been quite active so far, but again, that time just not able to quite hit the pass. And yeah, look, you'd be disappointed, I think, there from the Thunder, because it was a good little chance to break as well. And we always talk about the final ball, and I think at this level it is a key issue for a lot of sides. But that time there, Nazari just getting his wires crossed a little bit there with Barnes, and got to make the most of those opportunities when breaking forward into space, especially when you've got a bit of an overload centrally like that. So that switch of play again goes out quite wide, but held up well there in the end, and a chance now to cut inside and go forwards here for the Dandenong Thunder. Yildiz, though, doing really well and strong. Now, I think the referee stopped it because there's a head knock there, unfortunately for Knights, because there was a bit of space to break into, but again, defending resolutely. And Dennis Yildiz, another one who's been quite impressive so far, strong in the challenge and looking to play out confidently on the ball as well.
We did see his talent over at Hume City before jetting off to Turkey, now back in NPL. But Hatfield is uninverted. As he was going down, his head's collided with the leg of Connor McDonald, who couldn't get out the way. So referee's done the right thing to stop the game. I know that Knights fans might be disappointed because they were trying to start a counter-attack, but Hatfield's definitely not in a great way at the moment with that head knock. The Thunder did start this game quite well, but Melbourne Knights really have taken that chance. Sean Albano with a fantastic finish. There's plenty of games that will be going on across NPL Victoria tonight, as well as Port Melbourne Sharks host the Bentley Greens. That game would have just about kicked off. Green Gully and Hume City at 8 o'clock. Dandenong City, St Albans Saints, a bit of a dandy derby. And Oakley Cannons and Heidelberg United. Before tomorrow, where Altona Magic take Avondale to Stead Park in Geelong. Before rounding out the round at South Melbourne's Lakeside Stadium against the Eastern Lions. It's quite a poor performance by South Melbourne. We were both there last week against Heidelberg, and it wasn't a great performance either by the Eastern Lions, going down 3-0 in their first game in the top flight against Bentley Green. So big storylines in that game on Sunday.
Yeah, there certainly will be a huge clash for both of those sides. Of course, Eastern Lions, you can probably forgive them because, you know, the first game into the top flight in their history, really. The Bentley Greens are looking very good and probably an early favourite as well. We'll stay with play for the moment, though, as the ball's whipped into the box and, again, headed clear. Albano just keeping it of a wide position, but in the end is happy to let it roll out for a throw. And look, it will be interesting because for South Melbourne, I think everyone was quite universally disappointed with that performance. More so the way that they played football, I think, has really given them the most stick. You know, after a quite comprehensive off-season, they had a week-long trip in Shepparton as well. And, you know, just the football, I think, for me, wasn't really there. And I think for them, you know, it's going to be a big test against their Eastern Lions side, who can probably smell a bit of blood, and an early scalp for them could really turn their season around. And even though it was, you know, comprehensive in the end, it was 0-0 at half-time against the Bentley Greens, and they kept themselves in it for long enough, had an early chance in that game as well to go ahead. So just think maybe if they can take an early one and defend well as they're known to do, could be a bit of a snakeskin there for South Melbourne as well.
One of the other big stories of round one was St Albans' 4-2 victory over Green Gully. As They're going to be kicking off at 8 o'clock against Hume City. But at the moment, the Melbourne Knights, Yildiz out wide, trying to get the cross into the near post. And Puppy gets it clear. Marafiotti's just out-muscled there by Nikola Jurkovic, and he protected the ball well, and he gets the foul.
Yeah, silly foul there by Marafiotti, especially in a position like that where he's got his back to goal. He should just be forcing him back, really. He doesn't have to win the ball in that position. It just allows Melbourne Knights to keep possession and now potentially attack on this right-hand side. And it's going to be played back again inside, and again, quite comfortable on the ball in midfield, of course. Anthony Drizel, experienced player at this level despite his younger years. Of course, spent a little bit of time at the Melbourne Victory as well in the NPL and NYL teams. He was quite a prodigy as a younger player. Always predicted to maybe move into the next level. Never quite found his stride at an A-League environment. But has always been decent in the NPL Victoria. There's a ball over the top there. Buscetto was trying to get onto that, but Francis Swiley, he's a big and strong lad, and I think Buscetto was happy to move himself out of the way there and allowed the goalkeeper to collect the ball.
Just another one of those balls just sitting on the turf. There's a will now. This time Chuckaroon backs away from it. It's Barnes trying to find support in the box. He's only got Marafiotti and can't find him. The tall goalkeeper of Hattie Chuckaroon at the near post collects.
You can really see that ball holding up really effectively there for Barnes as well. He made a good run in behind, and maybe he could have tried to test an early shot there, but again, the angle was just a little bit too tight.
So Inisevic coming across from Dandenong City. It was quite an injury-plagued season last year. Over the top they go. Swale's got time to retreat and pick the ball up inside his penalty box. Now Harley Orr. She said back to his goalkeeper. Teammates at Perth Soccer Club last year when they went on and won the NPL WA title. Now in the midfield, and Zolfi Nazari, again just miscommunication with the teammate. It's another wayward pass. Nazari is an Afghanistan international. He's played for him for 5 times and has got an international goal against India.
Interesting one as well tonight. No Harry Ashcroft in the squad. Of course, a massive name signing in the off-season. Played last week as well.
Just couldn't get the final word of why he's missing tonight, but he was a late scratching. His name was on the team sheet and scrubbed out, so he must have been close. He has made the trip here.
Disappointing loss for them, of course. It was a massive signing, really. Quite illustrious career, by an Australian players' standards, I guess. Playing a few games in some decent divisions over in Europe, of course. Had a bit of time in the A-League as well. But again, he was last seen in Ireland before he came across here. Funnily enough, I think it was a week after he'd signed for Dandenong Thunder, he got himself a Ultimate Team of the Week card, which was, I think, quite famed because it doesn't happen often here in the NPL Victoria where you've got players receiving such illustrious awards like that.
straight to the pool room with that.
There could be a chance here now for the Knights to keep the ball and come through midfield and turn on outside now for Yildiz. He's got a bit of space going forward, but Dandenong Thunder closing off that midfield quite effectively. Now a chance to drive forward through midfield here for Petrillo. In the end, he's just rushed his pass a little bit there, though. And you can just hear the screaming there from Hamish Watson, just saying, why are we rushing that ball? And in the end, it's going to be a Thunder chance to just recycle the ball and reset.
They do that through the middle with Hall. Harley Orr. So they switch it out. Barnes will get it back towards Marafiotti, but the offside flag does go up against him. As he would have made the challenge as it was, and the Knights will restart things. As I said, quite a few games going on in NPL Victoria tonight. Port Melbourne and Bentley Greens. 10 minutes gone, no score. And JL Murphy reserve. Thankfully for the streaming, the rain looks to be staying away, so should be no interruptions on the stream this week. Ball in the middle, Watson trying to shield it away and gets the foul. Wanting to move it quickly. They do now through Connor McDonald, the Irishman, who signed to the Knights via the New Zealand Premier League. Nikola Jurkovic with a big switching ball. So now we get it out wide. Now can he find a teammate? He does in Mcdonald. They find it through. Here's Watson. The cutback is across. And the Thunder managed to deal with it.
Yeah, again, you'd be disappointed with that there, Hamish Watson. He just found that pocket of space and a good little ball as well. Just couldn't quite find feet with that cut back into the box. But again, the Knights just showing in the second instance that they've just been able to unlock that Thunder central defence a little bit too easily. And there could have very easily been 2-0. You've got to say, again, maybe a little bit weak in that final third area as Barnes looks to come forward, but given away.
I think I spoke a bit too soon. It looks like Port Melbourne have taken the lead at JL Murphy.
Big result that would be out there for them, of course. Disappointing after last week's, again, advantage for 70 minutes or so in the game. I think for Coach Adam Pittock, he would be absolutely, well, you've got to say disappointed, really, with that chance going by.
This ball's in midfield with Nikola Jurkovic. Giselle drops back to help out. It's interesting to see what sort of style the Knights will adopt this year under Stuart Munro. A successful player and manager for a long time. Hasn't seen him in the top flight for a couple of years. A really experienced signing for the Knights, and they're hoping that he can take them to the promised land of finals football. As the ball's now won back, and here go the Knights. Albano another chance to run past Pappy, and he does. He skins him and goes to the back post with the cross, but too much on it. And it goes out for a goal kick.
Yeah, Albano's been dangerous on that left-hand side, and I've got to say that Pappy again there, he's been stood up a little bit too easily to allow him to get to the byline. Hamish Watson's movement above the ball was really intelligent as well. He just cut across that central defender there, and I believe it was Sheridan on his side that time, and again, just couldn't quite find the final delivery. But Nazari, for me, a second time he's given the ball away cheaply in midfield, and to be honest, I didn't really see enough of him wanting to get that back after losing it as well. And that's something which, they've got to make sure that if they are coughing up possession, it's happened 2 or 3 times. You can say it happened when they conceded the goal as well. Just on transition, the Knights are looking quite dangerous. And look, Stuart Munro, very experienced coach, as you said, especially at this level. He's someone who's always set up his teams to be quite, devastating on the counter-attack. I think that's something which tonight we're just seeing that difference there at the moment is Pappy just looks to get on the ball here and just assess his options. Hasn't really got much in front of him. Quite static, really. In the end, just looks for the line, and Yildiz covers his ground quite well. Plays in centrally now, and Drizel will turn inside and now look to come forward through midfield here. Just bounced back there by Jurkovic, who again just moving well with Drizel in midfield, just looking to keep picking up the ball in pockets of space as it comes over the top there, and there'll be a foul against John Bruschetto there on Mehmeti, it looks like, and it's going to be a Dandenong Thunder free kick.
They've almost got that sun out of the way now too, Brandon, and you were the smart one. You've come here with the sunglasses tonight. It's Francis Suale to restart the game. The Thunder bunch, their 3 forwards up pretty close to each other. Marafioti's the target. Yildiz with a strong jump over the top. Drizel and Jurkovic combine. Shadow over the top, looking for Mcdonald. He's done well to bring the ball forward. Just trying to find that support. The cross comes in, back post, Albano! He's missed it. A great opportunity for the Knights, but they'll stay on the attack here with Hamish Watson. Can he find a teammate or go himself? He tries to go himself, and the weight of Thunder defenders gets it out for a corner.
Great opportunity there for Albano, and really he'd be livid with himself for not taking it. Fantastic delivery there. I believe it was from Bruschetto on that wide area. And again, Albano just really lost sight of the ball. Maybe he thought the goalkeeper was coming, just put enough doubt in his mind to take his eye off it, and just couldn't quite obviously connect on the finish. And then Hamish Watson again, able to stand inside and just beat his opponent far too easily there. But it is a corner kick here, and a chance here for the Melbourne Knights to continue putting this pressure on. It is whipped in centrally, headed clear to the edge of the box. Drizel, it'll fall nicely for him. Shot is blocked there in the end. It comes out towards the halfway line there, and Bruschetto, did he foul his man? He did. It will be a free kick here for Thunder. And well, again, another warning sign there, and As we said earlier, they started the brighter in the first 5 or 10 minutes, but really after that, the Melbourne Knights have just started to take control and are just looking so much more dangerous, especially when they're getting into the final third. And other than the ball over the top like that, although Barnes has gotten there, just couldn't quite keep it in. But other than that ball over the top from Thunder, haven't really seen them be able to keep the ball advance to their halfway line like they did in that first 5 or so minutes. And the Knights are looking dangerous on the counter.
Especially on the wings, the Knights wingers in Bichette and Albano are really giving the fullbacks of the Thunder quite a few problems in this game so far. Nazari has got the ball at the edge of the box, but the Knights try to shield it away, and they've done well. Jurkovic again helping out his defence, and they get the foul.
Of course, as well for the Thunder, always the biggest issue, especially last year, was what was their plan B, of course, around if Brandon Barnes isn't scoring goals. How are they creating chances, and how are they getting into opportunities to win games? And I think that's the thing here, is if they can shut him down and really shut down that long ball over the top, you haven't really seen enough elsewhere tonight to suggest that there is too much that's going to really trouble the Knights in the moment.
Does the Thunder have this throw? Now Hatfield. It's going a little bit ill-directed, looking for Barnes, who's growing more frustrated with these errant passes at the moment from the Thunder. Lockie Keevers gets himself a touch. I thought the new rule was to play stops with that sort of thing, or hasn't it reached NPL Victoria level?
I believe it has, from when I was reading the rules of the game documentation, but I know it was definitely around if a referee inadvertently scores, which I think we saw that in Holland or Belgium or something last year, the famous goal that did the rounds on social media. Again, there, just a little bit unlucky from Lockie Keevers, getting himself in the wrong place at the wrong time. So looks like now Knights will just keep the ball in their defensive half and to break forward there centrally. Given away though, and again a strong header one there, and out for a throw for Thunder.
Once again, Mercer Mehmeti will come up and take it, but a couple of times they've pressed the Knights up at the back and they've forced them into those poor passes into midfield. That's the way they started the game, and they're in this advanced position again because of it. Hatfield. Ball goes out for another Thunder throw. Need to see if they've got somebody who's got a cannon in their arm to throw it into the box, or they go back to the young man Mehmeti, now Hatfield. Cross in, and once again it's easy for the Knights to get it cleared. All forward. Sliced away from the Knights, but there's an opportunity to head it out.
Again, the Thunder just able, at least, I wouldn't say they're holding possession very well. They've got a series of throws, but at least have the ball in an advanced position. Now this Brandon Barnes, though, on the edge of the area, plays it in Nazari well, just couldn't quite find the channel to zip himself into the box. Again, given away, a little bit scrappy there from the Knights. In the end, they get it out wide, though, and Yildiz can attack this space here. He's got too much in front of him, tried to find Albano. In the end, intercepted there by Suleimani, but just couldn't quite keep it in play. There for the Melbourne Knights, just panicking a little bit on the ball at times, and in the end, it's just going to be a matter of maybe just slowing down the tempo a little bit. But that's the danger Brandon Barnes has, of course. He had the ball around the edge of the box, and he's just so creative. How he looks to bring others into the game as well. And of course, if you give him half a yard of space to shoot, he'll hurt you. That time there, Nazari just playing off him well, but not quite able to get in. Although, could be a chance here for the Knights again for a second. And cutting inside, a really good last-ditch challenge there from Puppy. In the end, it's cleared for a corner. Or will be a goal kick, rather. Also came off another Knights man. But again, the Knights, just that snippet, that half chance when they drive into the box, they are looking dangerous. And that time they just couldn't quite get the shot away.
Sam Mcdonald was bursting through. Alan Puppy, they really needed that challenge because he tricked the defender, and the next touch was going to be a strike on goal. As we are getting closer to half-time here at Summer Street. The Melbourne Knights' first home game of the season, looking for their first win here in round 2. It's around the grounds, Port Melbourne 1, Bentley Greens 0 after 20 minutes, and Green Gully and Hume City have just kicked off. Orr will head it forward. Nazari can't trap that one in, and over the top goes Franjic, and it's going to find its way to Watson. What can Hamish Watson do? Trying to curl it into the corner. The Thunder get it clear. And Harley Orr now back for the Thunder. Again,
just that long ball over the top, not quite finding Barnes. That time they try and find his feet, but Barnes was expecting the ball to come in behind. Now it's Drizel who just take a bit of time to get his foot on the ball and just get his head up again. Goes back out to his central defender there. Now a chance to come forward potentially here. Long ball over the top. And he might just find the run of his fullback there, but in the end it goes out. There will be a goal kick there for the Dandenong Thunder. And again, just got to say, can the Thunder really try and affect this game a little bit higher up the ground than they are? As I said, those long balls in behind, and Barnes is maybe just struggling to get to grips with where that ball is going to come from. Is it coming through his feet? Is it going to go over the top and in behind? A few times there you've just seen the giveaway a little bit too cheaply.
Really is one of the big differences in the game so far, that ball's been played in Watson's direction so he can impact the game at the moment. Barnes, it's been a little bit haphazard around him. Marafiotti, ball goes over the top. Chilo does well to head it out. It's got pretty big shoes to fill as Aidan Bryce has returned home to Edgeworth. Chilo coming in from Rockdale City Suns. Once again, partners Joey Franich, who's really transitioned well into this centre-back role, where he's mainly played centre midfield in his time at Hume City and Green Gully. And Jurkovic with a needless handball there. Gets the Thunder in a great position.
Yeah, certainly. And again, just some cheap turnovers starting to come in, I think, for both teams here. Really able to hold possession consistently. Again, for the Thunder, just a matter now of a good delivery into the box. They've had a few of these chances to whip a ball in from a set piece. This one now, of course, with Nazari standing over the ball. Options to aim at in the middle. The likes of Brandon Barnes, of course, and Puppy have also come forward from the back. Sheridan in there as well. Will be Nazari to take this here. Ball whipped in towards the near post. It was a dangerous delivery as well. In the end, it is headed out for a corner, though. A good chance again here for the Thunder to get another dangerous ball into the box off the boot of Brandon Barnes, it looks like.
Bacillo really had to deal with that. That could have gone pretty much anywhere. No Knights player was tracking it, but he had to be sure to get it clear. Cross comes in. Pappy over the top of his head. Ball forward. And just poked forward, and it goes wide from the Thunder. Sani Chakarun. It's ready to take the goal kick. So final 5 minutes of the half. Up over the top, or heads it forward. Field over the top. And the Knights clear it, but there's no real system with the Thunder, the way they move it forward, Brandon.
Yeah, well, again, I think both sides at the moment are really struggling to just keep the ball, but for the Thunder, as we said, they're trying to go a little bit more direct, and then I think that the movement off the ball isn't really quite there at the moment to really receive in those high areas. Although now, again, just trying to get onto it in an advanced position, but Knights holding firm defensively, and Buschetto's actually kept that alive, as you know. It's gone out for looks like it's going to be a free kick, but yeah, again, just really not able to exert themselves and get the likes of Brandon Barnes into pockets of danger in that final third. For the Melbourne Knights, so they've sort of lost their way a little bit as well. They had quite a good little bit of control of that midfield for a while. Looks like there might be a little bit of treatment required here. I think maybe for some blood, I'd presume.
They've tried to patch him up, just a bit of a blood on the knee from Hatfield, Chris Hatfield. Now the Knights through Dennis Yilders. Leaves that a bit short. And Pappy will get it back for the Thunder. Once again, a little bit ill-directed, this time from Stratomitros. Lets the Knights back on the ball. They get the throw, but just lacking in a bit of confidence, the Thunder, at the moment.
We can just see another position there where they could have opened up, gone through midfield and maybe attacked the other fullback, but they're just really struggling to spread the ball quickly enough. And you're going to see Jurkovic is still in a lot of space in that central area there, and they're not really looking to utilise that switch of play, I think, early. You can see Buschetto's in plenty of space out on his right-hand side as well. Just see now, again, just struggling to move that ball through midfield, or that's a dangerous enough ball over the top. Chakarun, if he's lined quickly, clears it high up and under. Slimani underneath it. Now it will be a chance for them to come forward through Mcdonald. And now Buschetto here on the wide area and a chance of potential delivering towards the back post. Albano's there. down towards the middle, and Giselle was tackled well there. Papi, a second important intervention defensively. Now a chance for Thunder to come forward here through Nazari. Looks wide there for Marafiotti. Yildiz' challenge was not quite enough, and now it's Marafiotti into the box here, and he cuts inside, but a good save there from the goalkeeper, Chakarun. The first shot on target there for the Dandenong Thunder.
Yeah, Marafiotti tricking everybody going on to the right at the near post, and that is a great save by Hadi Chakarun, because it was going to creep in there, had to throw the leg at it. And in the end, the goalkeeper has protected his near post well. Once again, it's Brandon Barnes to come over to take this for the Thunder. Cross comes in, Chakarun comes out, and the goalkeeper collects the game.
Yeah, good goalkeeping there again. You can just see, of course, the first shot protecting his near post really well, and then that time confidently off his line. Well defended there, although chance again for Soleimani to come forward. Hatfield, who's back on the ground. Again, looking to potentially open up a chance to cross. Good little exchange there with Soleimani, but he's offside. And again, the Dandenong Thunder there, you'd feel Marafiotti getting in a position like that into the 6-yard box. You've got to maybe make a little bit more of that, either find the feet of another attacker or really test the goalkeeper out. I think that, Chakarun, although it was a good save, it was something which you would expect to be stopping. Of course, it is near post. And again, the Thunder pushing a few more buttons, though, towards the end of this first half.
So Sam Al-Marzi, the new manager at Dandenong Thunder's got a little bit of work to do, but it's not all bad. It's only the 1-0 result at the moment, and they're getting in good areas. They just haven't got that final ball coming through, and that's a heavy challenge from Marafiotti. Nikola Jurkovic is saying he had the elbow out. I don't believe that he did. I think he's just ran into the shoulder, but the referee's done the right thing of giving the foul, and to see if any treatment is needed.
Yeah, it was a little bit late there. Of course, we saw almost a record opening round amount of red cards, of course, last week. In the first game of the NPL across the board, it was something like 7 or 8 red cards, wasn't it, Chris?
Yeah, we've had seven in the opening round.
Again, a lot of clubs would be frustrated with that, of course, especially when you're in the opening game. You know everyone's going to be fired up and all that, but you don't want to be losing players to silly suspensions, of course, as we enter the final minute of this first half. Ball comes over the top again, headed down. Now Jurkovic looks wide. It's a great ball as well. Buscetto, if he can get it down, might be in a position of danger here. Oh, and it comes across the face and just couldn't quite find a man in the area. Now it's a chance for Albano, central to Jurkovic. Again, goes wide to Yildiz. Picks his pass. Albano, he's got an overload there. It's a good one as well for Mcdonald. It goes down, and it will be a penalty for the Melbourne Knights. Connor Mcdonald, a great little overload there. And into the box he went. He just cut in front of his defender. A silly clip as he was getting into the box. And a fantastic opportunity to make it 2-0 now for the Melbourne Knights.
Well, it seems like a bit of confusion about that. I'm not too sure about that. I would love to have a second look. Of course, the referee doesn't get that opportunity. But it will be Hamish Watson from the spot. And I know a goalkeeper who saved a penalty from Hamish Watson before. Do you, Brandon?
Oh, God, it was a long time ago. 2015, New Zealand IDC. Big chance, though, here, Chris.
And it will be Hamish Watson, the Kiwi striker from the spot, to give the Knights a 2-0 lead as we're just about headed into half-time. Sawali in his way. But here's a chance for the hammer, and he buries it in the bottom corner. Melbourne Knights take this 2-0 lead, and he makes the most of the penalty opportunity, and Watson has his second for the season. Melbourne Knights 2-0 up.
Yeah, well taken penalty there. He was real calm and composed. He's just buried that into the bottom corner. And if there's a time you don't want to concede, especially a second, it's right on the break, and the Dandenong Thunder, they've just been punished again. 2 lapses in concentration at the back, and again, you just can't allow the likes of Mcdonald to just get in behind and really work off his man in that 18-yard box. And that time there, you can just see he's just cut inside and really driven into that byline. Great little opportunity there he created for himself. And, well, for now, the Thunder really is going to be what is plan B in the second half, because they've had a few half chances and a fair bit of the ball in certain areas, but I don't think enough to really suggest they've had enough to trouble the Melbourne Knights, especially defensively. Deserved 2-0 lead, you've got to say, Chris.
Well, I've just had another look at that penalty decision. The referee in the middle, Lachlan Keevers, has definitely made the right decision. He's definitely been clipped on the way through. Costas Stratomitros with that challenge. 2-0 lead to the Knights. They've looked definitely a lot more fluid in the final third compared to the Dandenong Thunder. Last year, this game did end in a 3-3 draw, so there is still a chance of a bit of a comeback in the second half. It's Hatfield at the moment with 2 Knights around him. They're going to need 3, and they eventually the third one, Nikola Jurkovic, makes the challenge. And it is half-time here at Knight Stadium. It's a great homecoming, the first home game of the season for the Knights, and they lead the Thunder by 2-0.
Yeah, look, a really, I think, comprehensive first half there from the Melbourne Knights. I think that they've just taken their chances and looked dangerous in the final third. I think that's the key thing here, because the Thunder have had, as we said, opportunities when building forwards and getting into their attacking area. They've had a few half chances, like Barnes getting on it around the edge of the box, Marafiotti driving into the line, but they just haven't really looked dangerous, I don't think, Chris. Whereas the Knights, although they haven't held the ball, I think, as well as they could have at certain times, they've looked threatening whenever they've gone forward. And I think in those instances there, Albano playing off Watson really well, getting into the box and then finishing really convincingly. And then at the end there, of course, Mcdonald overloading into that 6-yard box and getting brought down. But the hammer, as we've seen there, I think on Football 24, it's been updated. Someone's listening to the to the broadcast.
So I've thrown in the nickname, and Football 24's gone with it. So Albano in the 14th minute, Hamish Hammer Watson in the 45th +1. So it's 2-0 here at the Knights. We'll be back after a short break.
We are back here at Knight Stadium for this round 2 NPL Victoria clash here between the Melbourne Knights and the Dandenong Thunder. It is the Knights leading by 2-0 at the break. Goals from Jan Albano and Hamish Watson, giving them a fantastic advantage going into the second half. Will it be another comeback here for the Dandenong Thunder? As we do have a little false start. Will the Knights record their first home win of the season? Of course, Brandon Galgano here with you alongside Chris Gleeson. And Chris, as we said at half-time, I think a little bit of the discussion was, how are Thunder going to get themselves back into this game? A lot of talk obviously revolving around Brandon Barnes, but how they can really get him into the game is another question. Huge second half coming for them.
They've got that quality up front with Marifieldi and Barnes, but they're just breaking down the final third. They're just with a few sloppy passes. So they're trying to turn in midfield, but run into the brick wall that is Nikola Jokovic. But coming through is Stratomitros. Jokovic again comes back and wins the ball for the Knights. It's been really impressive in the first half. And Soleimani goes back to his keeper.
Yeah, and again, you can just see there, again, the Dandenong Thunder was something which, hurt them in the first half. That period of transition, just being able to get that ball forward quickly was so dangerous for them. They scored, of course, you can argue both goals, but the first goal especially. So that ball comes over the top, and again, Puppy will look to let it roll on. But the goalkeeper, Francis Suale, of course, didn't really have too much to do other than the goals, picking up the ball and playing long forwards.
He had a lot to do last week, though, in the Dandenong derby. 6 quality saves in that game. And it went a long way for the Thunder to get their victory. Soleimani forward for the Thunder now. Hatfield. Barnes was trying to get a strike away. It does find to Marifieldi, and Chakaru makes the save.
Yeah, again, I think one person who the Thunder will really be wanting to get more out of is Nazari. Of course, came with such a high pedigree, and again, last week performed, I think, a little bit under the expectation. I'm not sure what's going on there with Buscetto. Wasn't even looking as that ball was played over towards him. He goes out for a throw. Really strange there from Buscetto. But again, in that first half, a few errant passes, when breaking forward into space, I don't think really affecting the game as much as they would like out of him. Again, I think that's someone who, they'll really need him to start to link up, maybe get a bit closer to Brandon Barnes, as well, sportingly given back there to the Melbourne Knights goalkeeper, Chakarun.
And we can just quickly go around the grounds. It is Green Gully nil. Hume City have just scored. They lead at Green Gully Reserve. Port Melbourne still 1-0 in front of the Bentley Greens. That's pretty much on half-time. There's the Knights.
Looks like Hume City have just scored as well. Maybe you just might have mentioned that, Chris. I think I switched off for a moment.
So Brandon's trying to look at the stream to see the goal scorer as we're trying to go all around the grounds while you watch this Knights game. Jokovic. Midfield. Albano. Can't squeeze a pass out to a teammate. They press pretty high. Jokovic versus Orr, and then coming across and getting it back is Juzel. The support he's finding Buscetto. The overrun of Sevic won't get there.
Good chance that was to overload as well, as Buscetto whips the ball into the area there, but Suale just coming off his line well, and that's what they will be wanting to look for, I guess. The fullback getting himself around the winger, stepping inside, looking to get that slip inside. I think that Buscetto just mistimed it a little bit there, but certainly a dangerous area to attack as Barnes does look to come forward. Again, does come out here to Buscetto. Now maybe a bit of time and space here to look forwards and just clip it up towards Hamish Watson, but headed down to get into midfield. Now the Thunder look like they can come forward again. They lost, and now it's a Knights' chance to get onto the ball.
And Juzel leaves that one a little bit short. Connor Mcdonald, he's chopped down late. He was quick to get across to Stratomitros, who can be a bit of a hothead in NPL Victoria.
Yeah, it's just a wayward challenge, and you can just see probably a little bit of frustration there as well out of the Greek central midfielder. Again, maybe a little bit of frustration, not just able to keep the ball well enough, the Dandenong Thunder, and that time there, a rash challenge, not really required. Again, the Melbourne Knights, I think they'll be pleased with this start. They've had a fair bit of control here early. They've had the ball in their half pretty much the whole opening few minutes. Now a chance here on the set piece to try and punch this ball in towards the final third.
Brandon Barnes has put the ball on the spot for Franic, and then stood in front of it, not to allow him to play it. Bit of mind games from the Thunder captain. Knights will go short. Yildiz goes back. His only real option there was to go back to his goalkeeper. It's noticeable that the Thunder are pressing a little bit higher in this second half.
Yeah, again, good long ball over the top from Chokarun as well, and he's found the run of Albano, who gets in behind here and holds onto the ball in the corner. Can he look to cut inside? You'd think on his right there, he does. Whips in towards the back post towards Watson, but Swale was good. Off his line quickly, and in the end it is going to be out for a corner. You can just see they've got the wind as well in the second half. Well-timed ball over the top, a good run in behind as well from Albano. Straight away from defence to attack dangerously from the Knights.
So the wind, is, as you said, has noticeably picked up towards that Melbourne Knights goal with the quarry behind it. And these real historic red banks of Summer Street. Dennis Yildiz across to take the corner for the Knights. Almost flicked on there from Bassetto, and it goes out for, looks like it's going to be another corner.
Just enjoying a bit of the banter between some of these Melbourne Knights fans and Brandon Barnes. Brandon Barnes is having a few words as well, but certainly not commentary which is warranted on a broadcast. But a little bit of a chuckle as the ball is whipped in there by Yildiz again dangerously. Comes out towards the edge of the box, and well, a half volley there. Almost looked like Giselle. He just sort of threw his boot at it, and in the end flew over the bar. But again, the Melbourne Knights happy and comfortable with this start. I think it was always going to be a question of how are the Thunder going to attack early in the second half? How were they going to really get themselves back into this game? And right now, again, haven't really seen much of them in terms of trying to get that ball forward and really establish themselves with a foothold in this game.
And that's a big difference between the Melbourne Knights last year, who got themselves in these positions with these 1 or 2 goal leads and then let things slip. So they had those defensive frailties last year that cost them plenty of games and cost them the opportunity to play finals last year. But Stuart Munro, so far, so good.
He's done well. He's done well, I think, to just reorganise them. And that's such a big underestimated part of football as well. You know, you can play all this pretty football and get all this movement and all of that sort of stuff, but getting them well organised and disciplined and concentrated and focused for a prolonged period of time, I think, has been something she's done really well.
So Thunder go over the top. French gets it away. Mcdonald, Nazari, to try to create. Alior and Stratomitros, and once again that ball's a bit ill-directed. Civic will let it go out for a throw.
Again, I think you can just see there another symptom of just a lack of structured movement in front of the ball, especially when they're moving into the final third. And that time there, Stratomitros just expecting that Hatfield was maybe making the run, Hatfield thinking maybe he was going to play feet. And we just saw that in the first half, that miscommunication between players really hurting their chances of creating any key chances as the Knights look to play that ball forward quickly. But it is going to be a free kick. Chance again just to slow the game down early in the second half.
That was Bingham with the goal for Hume City. His first strike. That's one of the positions Hume City had to really strengthen if they were going to go even further in season 2020. Their striker, the new number 9, is away with a goal here in his second game for the club. And the half-time result is Port Melbourne 1, Bentley Greens 0. Yuta Konagaya with the goal after 10 minutes. It's Chakaroon long. Giselle looking for Jorkovic. Now the Knights going with Giselle. Mcdonald. Once again, the Thunder press pretty high. Then Barnes is getting in on the action and bundles over his defender.
Yeah, again, well held there by the Melbourne Knights. I think it's a good sustained period of possession and something which either side struggle with. Now's that ball's played quickly to Watson, who's onside. Just the ball rolled out from under his feet, and Puppy is there across to clear off Watson smartly, and it will be throw. I think that's something which they've done really well in the second half, the Melbourne Knights. They really locked down that midfield and kept the ball quite well. I think Giselle's really getting himself onto it and moving it around. Jerkovic is getting onto it, moving it around. They're using their fullbacks effectively. It's just allowing them to maintain the flow of possession and keep the Thunder off it and chasing. Again, the likes of Brandon Barnes, you know, he's we mentioned it already in the first half. He's not someone who does well having to chase games out a lot. You know, someone who can pride himself on maybe getting into a position of space and danger.
There's a Thunder trying to force that turnover. And they do. Mehmeti out wide to Barnes. Chance to strike it forward with Hatfield. Keeps it in. Plenty of numbers in the box, just trying to find the right pass. Ball comes in, Marafiotti! Barnes with a delicate cross into the box, and Giuseppe Marafiotti finishes, and the Thunder get one back.
Well, we just saw there, though, we've spoken about it so much. Brandon Barnes getting into positions of danger in the final third and looking to create an absolutely fantastic cross with the outside of his boot to find Marafiotti. You've got to say for the Melbourne Knights, they'll be so disappointed with how free he was in that 6-yard box, able to just get a free header in on goal into the bottom corner. No chance for the goalkeeper. And again, that was all the Thunder needed to get themselves back in this game. And despite being so strong, really, starting in the second half, the Melbourne Knights, they really have let themselves down there with that early goal. And as we said, exactly what Thunder needed to get themselves back into this contest.
As I said, that's what their problem Achilles heel last year with these defensive frailties, but Barnes really had no right to be able to get that cross in. With the Knights players in front of him, it really should have been blocked. Giuseppe Marafiotti's second goal of the season, combining again well with Barnes. And now it's up to the Knights who switch it.
Great ball out wide here for Bichetto now. He's got a bit of space and time here. Can he cut inside? He does. John Bichetto just wide from the winger. And again, Hamish Watson that time, the next time, getting on the ball well, turning out wide and looking for his winger in space to attack his fullback. And that time there, John Bichetto did exceptionally well, was really unlucky not to find the bottom corner with the finish.
It's great trickery to find the room to cut inside, but just didn't have enough with the left foot, trying to poke it. Ended at the near post. As the Knights trying to restore that 2-goal lead straight away. As we're approaching the hour mark here. The first Melbourne Knights home game, round 2 in NPL Victoria. Lockie Keevers has to stop the game here from another head clash. We've seen a few in this game.
I've seen a bit of a rise just in tempo in these last 5 or so minutes as well, and obviously instigated by the Thunder goal. But I think the first half, despite there being a few goals in it, it was a little bit lax, I think, in intensity at times. You know, and both of these teams have sort of woken up a little bit now. The Thunder crowd's got into it a bit more as well. They were almost unsighted in that first half. It's going to be a big factor for them, as they always are. Such passionate support for both of these clubs here. As the throw's taken quickly, good little movement there from the Knights to come forward. Strong challenge in midfield though. Again, an opportunity to work it out in a wide area. Albano holds onto it, goes all the way back into his centre-back, who some good composure there, plays the ball across the face, and Franjic looks up ahead of him. He's got too many options ahead of the ball, and in the end finds Jokovic. A bit of pressure, turns well, goes all the way back to his goalkeeper, and a chance here for Chakarun to play a long ball forwards.
Long ball. It's going to find its way out wide to Albano. It was a great pass by the keeper, and Albano trying to turn inside, loses possession of the ball. Stratomitros, Soleimani, Nazari, Keevers, the referee in the middle, just lets the play flow. The intensity's definitely lifted here. And just a misplaced pass from Bichetto.
You can see the danger again there of that overload though. Bichetto dropping into space, Sivic getting out alongside of him wide and high. You can see both defenders had stepped in as well. If he just timed that pass a little bit better, and Sivic is able to really get himself into that byline and drive forwards. But again, down on Thunder, they'll be pleased with their response, I think. Obviously the goal is a main one and a main factor as that ball's launched almost in towards our commissary position here out wide.
Well, lucky I'm sitting next to a goalkeeper then.
Very much a former goalkeeper of that case. But again, for the Thunder, we just know now they're back in this. Brandon Barnes, the whole threat that he presents in the final third, it just gives you that extra pocket of danger. Now it's a chance here out wide, and maybe an opportunity to cross though. Ball in towards the edge of the box. Giselle looks up, finds Watson. Cuts in on his left. There's a little bit of danger there. Good defending though from Thunder, just compacting the space, and a long range shot there from, I think it was Giselle. But in the end goes over the bar and out for a goal kick.
Definitely backs himself from distance, does Anthony Giselle. He hasn't this game lifted the intensity. The tackles are flying in from both sides.
Fans getting a bit of voice as well, and there is a change, it looks like, for the Dandenong Thunder.
There will be Hatfield to make way for Paul Kuol.
A very attacking-minded change as well. You can still see Murphy playing quite central. You can see Suleimani as well, all playing quite narrow into that front four. Really looking to attack this game now, the Thunder. As the ball does drop into midfield here, Watson does well, bounces it backwards in there towards Mcdonald. Again's cleared away. Underneath the ball, there's Franjic. Good strong header as well, and now an opportunity here for the Thunder to attack through midfield. Suleimani, poor pass, and again, got to be disappointed with that. The chance here for the Knights to break.
What about that from Nikola Jurkovic? Albano. Ball's come back off the shin of Jan Albano and out for a throw to the Thunder.
Tension is lifted here as well. The voice of the Knights fans really lifted as well as Jurkovic goes down. It's going to be a big factor for them if they can hold on to this. The Thunder just slowly clawing themselves back into this contest. Just got to think as well for the Knights, what does the management start to think of? Stuart Munro here, does he have to start to think of some changes in there? He's got some good quality on the bench, of course, the likes of Nick Lavin, Calvin Whitney, Caleb Mikulic. A couple of players who can come on and help shore up a game. A bit of experience in there as well.
Also got with Marcus Duncan, the last signing for the Melbourne Knights, coming in from Hamilton Azuri, a very popular club up in northern New South Wales. It's got a bit of a cult following as the Azuri. Now they've got Marcus Duncan, who will be looking to make an NPL Victoria debut. Now here's Watson coming through and playing it short is Nazari. And he gets it clear. Yildiz keeps it in. Suleimani really had nowhere to go.
Yeah, again, you just see there from the Thunder, just attacking that second ball. But Nazari still, for me, has been a little bit unsighted. He's got on the ball at times and tried to be a little bit nippy through midfield. But again, he's just been caught in really deep areas on the ball. Hasn't really been able to affect the game as Watson comes from an offside position there. Does look like as well with Quoll coming on that Marafiotti's pulled out into a wide position, a slight formation change. Looks like they've gone to a 4-3-3. Barnes potentially playing a bit more central, Quoll out wide.
So Suleimani's playing a little bit close to him in a more advanced role as well. And ball goes out wide. The wind spins it back into play. Suleimani gets past Franjic. Suleimani to Barnes, and he goes over the top. A great chance for the star striker, but it goes begging.
Yeah, again, those defensive frailties being exposed, and Suleimani using his body really well to get goal side position and drive at that byline. That time there, Brandon Barnes, you've got to say it's a great opportunity, and for a player of his calibre, especially in front of goal, you've got to think that he should be putting that away. And I think that really for them and for the Melbourne Knights, it's going to be a real wake-up now how they adjust to this change and just how attacking the the Dandenong Thunder are going at this second half. Suleimani again driving forward through midfield, clips it over the top well. Brandon Barnes is in here. Great chance here for Barnes. Saved brilliantly. Kuol's there, and it's 2-2. What a finish from the substitute, Paul Kuol. And in just like that, the Dandenong Thunder have levelled the game here. And well, what a turnaround in these last few minutes. And what a finish that was from Paul Kuol. A great substitution from Sam Elmazi. And it's paid absolute dividends here.
Dandenong Thunder. Barnes with a great first chance, and Hadi Chakaroon did well to make that save. But on the follow-up, Paul Kuol, and he gets his Thunder goal. And it's 2-2. Game on here at Summer Street. Melbourne Knights' defensive frailties come to the fore again as they've conceded 2 goals in quite a quick succession as Brandon Barnes just rubs his belly to the Knights fans under the tower here.
Well, you've got to say as well, Suleimani's impact on that goal, driving forward through midfield again, looking for that ball in behind. You've got to say Brandon Barnes will be disappointed he didn't finish that first opportunity. But again, just showing the impact of driving in between those lines and creating those opportunities in behind. And now, really, after being so comfortable and starting so well in the second half as well, Chris, I think that's the key element. It wasn't like the Thunder came out firing. They've just slowly gotten themselves in. They've had 2 good chances, and they've taken them both to be right back and level in this game.
What a game we've got for you here on Friday night. NPL Victoria action. The Knights trying to get back in front again with this corner. It's the usual suspects. A few of the bigger boys have come up from the back. Pachillo's the target at the back post. Mcdonald can't keep it in, and in the end, harmlessly goes out for a goal kick.
As we said, now for the Melbourne Knights, I think it is really a matter of how can they affect this game and how can Stuart Munro affect this game with any changes. It's really just become a little bit stale, I think. You know, that control they had in the early parts of the second half, especially midfield, looks to have been lost a little bit. And more or less, just the danger in wide areas they've presented. You know, the few times they've gotten in behind, they've created chance in the second half Thunder. It's been from just driving at their fullbacks and that ball over the top from Soleimani, you've got to say, should not be that easy to be pipping inside and in behind. Well, some big question marks now coming forward.
It's a few big battle in midfield that the Knights win. So to move it forward. Harley all back helping his defence. He's done so well tonight. And a sloppy pass in midfield that Pappy gets clear. Now Paul Kuol. Jurkovic slows him down. Thunder fans who are quite vocal on the far side near the grandstand.
Yeah, they're making themselves heard. We've got to say Paul Kuol's impact's been fantastic. He's just looking dangerous. He's added another element to that final third. Really dangerous when he's moving forward. It also allows him a lot of fluidity between the three. You can see Marafiotti's come across, Kuol's sitting out wide, Barnes can drift across to the left. It just makes it really difficult for defenders, especially with the likes, as we said, of someone like Brandon Barnes. You're not sure where he's going to be, where he's drifting into space, who's going to be marking him. It just allows, I think that unsettling of the back four for the Knights has really been a cataclysmic factor for them in getting back into this game.
So they go with a long throw, looking for Paul Kuol. It's headed back and Chuckaroon will collect. So Hadi Chuckaroon will try to slow things down for the moment. Now just harmlessly passes it back to his opposition goalkeeper. So we're approaching the final, say, 20, 25 minutes of this game. Sets up a real grandstand finish. Said it was a 3-3 draw here at Summer Street last year. Once again, this game is living up to the billing.
When you picked it in the first half, Chris, to be honest, when you said it might be goals in it, I didn't believe you at the time, as it looks like Giselle it is. He's going to be replaced. And an interesting one because he's had a decent game on the ball in there at times. And looks like Duncan is getting his debut, Chris.
So they're going to bring on the defender.
Just shoring up at the back. They'll push Franich into midfield, it looks like, as he is now.
So just trying to get a bit of experienced head and the captain a little bit more involved in the middle of the park. And we get a chance to see Duncan. What a game to come into. 2-2. Final 20-odd minutes of this game.
They are throwing their fullbacks a lot higher up as well now, so it looks like they are getting caught in that 1v2, 2v2 situation a lot more. So getting experienced centre-back in there to deal with that I think is going to be important. Of course, Joseph Franjic is a very versatile player, but he's not naturally a central defender. He's more naturally a defensive midfielder. He's going to drop in there, and the cries of handball are heated too, so it'll be a free kick here.
Gee, they're making some noise, the Thunder fans out there, and just over at Jack Edwards reserve, it is Oakley Cannons 0. Heidelberg United 1 after 25 minutes. Sean Ellis with the goal. Port Melbourne still leading Bentley Greens. 50 minutes played in that one. And half-time Hume City through Bingham lead. And Sivic clears and slices it out wide. As the Thunder look to keep it in play. It's shielded out for a throw.
And Marafiotti again, just looking to cause some problems there. Of course, Port Melbourne still leading the Bentley Greens as well. Be a fantastic result for them. They can maintain that as a chance to come forward. It is a free kick. A good opportunity now for the Dandenong Thunder again. Imagine the noise that those Thunder fans will make if they're able to get themselves an advantage after just looking so down and out not too long ago, and getting the big numbers forward again here. They'll want a good ball and delivery here out of Nazari. These are the moments that can make players heroes.
Well, he hasn't had a great game so far, Nazari, but they need a great delivery here.
Good chance now. Referee Lockie Keever is just making sure there's enough space between the wall and the ball. Single man in it, Sivic, but it will be Nazari to deliver. He does get it in there, and the head up just flashed over the crossbar, but Another danger sign, and at the moment, it's absolutely all Dandenong Thunder.
Well, Harley Orr, he's sort of known for that over in NPL WA, scoring these set-piece goals. If you want a comparison to the type of player he is, you look at Wayne Wallace in his prime, that's the sort of player and the quality that they've brought in from WA.
It's a decent comparison to make, one of the best players in the NPL era.
He wins that header. Kuol. Yildiz gets it wide and gets it too wide in the end and out for a throw.
Again now for the Melbourne Knights, it's almost a factor of does Stuart Munro want to sit in here and contain this result, or do they want to get themselves ahead and press home with this win and maybe get themselves back into the point of 3 points, as it looks like the Dandenong City have taken the lead as well out in their game against St Albans. So a really important result that would be for them, of course, after the heartbreak of last week. But again, one factor that you can bring into this, and you can bring last week's performance in as well, is the character of this Thunder side to come in against adversity, and when it looks like the chips were down, rising above and getting themselves in a position where they're really fighting for these 3 points. As that ball's clipped over the top again. Marafiotti underneath it. Duncan, was he fouled? Referee says yes. It was a fair decision too. It was a fair shove there from Giuseppe Marafiotti, and in the end, it will be a Melbourne Knights free kick.
Well, the Football 24 around the grounds can not be the most reliable source, so although they've gone with the 1-0 lead, just checking the actual stream, it still says 0-0 between Dandenong City and St Albans, so that's the first one that Football 24's buggered up for us for the year. Harley Orr gets it clear. Marafiotti trying to shield it. Ball finds him, and he uses his pace to get it past Sivic. Now can he find the bit of quality? It's into the box, coming through. Nazari shouts for handball. Referee waves it away, and the ball gets cleared.
Half-hearted appeal it was, but still the pressure really being exhumed here on the Melbourne Knights defence. Ball over the top again towards Nazari. Headed down, Barnes opens up a bit of space in front of him here. Just holds onto the ball, cuts onto his left. Great delivery as well, wide there to Marafiotti. Bit of space and time to cross. One-on-one with his defender in Sivic. He does get goal side of him, does Marafiotti. The cutback is good too. Falls to the back post here, a chance for Barnes! And just wide. And again, that chance and driving into the byline from Marafiotti, causing so many problems. And Brandon Barnes that time just couldn't get his head over the ball. A wonderful opportunity there for the Thunder wasted.
What about the little attempt of, I think it was the Alestico, the Ronaldinho little flick to go past his defender. It did come off the defender, but he was managed to get there first, and a couple of big chances for the Thunder to take the lead. We're going to see some late drama again. I've got no doubt there's going to be another goal in this game, Brandon.
Yeah, look, I think that there again, we've spoken about it a few times, but that vulnerability in wide areas, especially in one-on-one situations at the back for the Melbourne Knights, and that time there, Marafiotti just drove at his man so well. He knew he was isolated, he knew that he was on his heels, and he just got to that byline, and that's where they're so dangerous, as the ball's whipped into the box and over the head of everyone, and out for a goal kick here.
Well, I'm going to back Francis Sawale versus John Bassetto at the back post if there had to be a contest there, but the new number one for the Thunder.
Got to give credit to the Thunder fans as well. They've made a massive impact here in the second half. You can just feel the energy that they're really giving their side. Almost feels like a Thunder home game at some points there when they're getting forward. And again, they're really looking strong and fit as well coming into these last 15 minutes.
It's a lot to like about some of the signings that the Thunder have put together. Harley Orr and Giuseppe Marafiotti, they did sign with Oakley in the off-season, but ended up late in pre-season.
Oh, great turn.
And it is Kuol. Just trying to find the right pass now. Can the Thunder get a decent cross in? It's deflected, but they will get a corner.
Yeah, Paul Kuol's been absolutely fantastic since he's come off the bench. He's added such an X factor there, and just see he's had his defender on his heels the whole time. Whenever he's had the ball, he's had to be focused on his defending, especially in those one-on-one situations. Another really good opportunity here off a corner kick here for the Dandenong Thunder. It will be Nazari to take this one, and he will deliver it in near post this time. Headed clear, Comes out again to Nazari. Second bite of the cherry potentially. It's a low delivery to the near post. Does fall into the box again. Falls out to the edge of the area this time. And Chakarun, a comfortable save in the end. And a chance now for the Knights to break.
Just with Orr having to swivel, just couldn't get the power needed in that shot. Suleimani, sliding challenge. Comes up with the ball. The referee says you've got it because you've gone through Hamish Watson. And the Knights take it quickly. Mcdonald, the Irishman's had a strong game in midfield for the Knights. And now out wide, Albano again gets past Alan Puppy. He's done that quite a few times in today's game. Cross comes in, Sawali. And once I said just a few moments ago, Sawali versus Basetto, I know who I'm backing.
Yeah, really strong in the air there. And a good release as well for Kual, who can attack this left-hand side. One-on-one with his defender in front. He slips over, still somehow keeps the ball. Does Paul Kual. Rolls inside, ball's tackled, but it could be a chance here for Knights to break through midfield. Now coming out wide, but given away there poorly, you've got to say, in the middle of the park. And now a chance for the Knights here to break forward through Frunich.
Well, Paul Coelho's had no problem stepping up from the state leagues at Warragul to be playing for the Thunder. Basetto can't keep it in, just now it's the Knights with those misplaced passes in the final third.
It's always great to see the likes of a Paul Coel coming in through the state leagues, of course, a regional team in Warragul and State League 1, and, you know, showing the quality of players at that level coming in and doing quite well. Today he's been just exceptional. You've got to say he's probably been one of the main factors in getting back into this contest. Not so much directly, although he has scored the equalising goal, but it's more around just his movement and his directness of his play has been so dangerous.
Well, it's going to be Bruschetto out wide to cross it into the box, but the flag went up. Just went just slightly early on that one. Good ball over the top to find him.
I think for the Melbourne Knights, it's just a matter of now who are the experienced heads, and we spoke about this in the first half. You know, losing the likes of Marijan Svitkovic and a few other experienced players from this squad. You know, they are quite a young team. You know, if you look at their average age across the board, you know, they have actually a lot of players who, you know, are in their mid to late 20s. Not so much, you know, those experienced veterans they've had for many years. And again, who's really going to just calm them down and really get them in control?
There will be a substitution to the Knights with Gian Albano, who did score the first goal in the game. Caleb Mikulic is his replacement.
Again, just an attacking-minded change now, and that's something which, you know, for Stuart Munro, Gian Albano, who's so dangerous in that first half, they'll be disappointed. He'll be disappointed, I think, that he just was faded a little bit, you know, in the second period. Not so much for fault of his own, but they just couldn't quite get the ball into those areas he was picking up in the first half.
Ball out wide. Merson Mehmedi with a little bit of time. Goes over the top, and Chunkaroon will just easily take that one. As this end-to-end game continues, Chunkaroon wastes no time with that cross-field ball. Mikulic just slipped over a few times before the ball eventually evaded him and out for a throw.
Thinking now as well for the Dandenong Thunder. They want to make sure they can ride out this wave of intensity that they've had in this second half. You know, you can just see little snippets of Knights. They're just starting to regain a little bit of a foothold here. I think that the fitness aspect for both these sides as well is just going to be so important. They both are, and they've shown tonight they're so dangerous in the final third. As Kual holds onto the ball, tries to drive forward again. Still got it. Has Kual. Gets past his man a second time. Does Kual. This is where it's dangerous now for Thunder. Clips it into the back post of Suleimani and down for Barnes. But he just couldn't quite get his head over the ball again. But Paul Kual, he's giving his defender nightmares out there on that left-hand side of defence for the Melbourne Knights. A good delivery as well. Fantastic layoff from Suleimani and Brandon Barnes. You can see the frustration on a night for him in front of goal. He's burying those opportunities. Another one wasted there for the Thunder.
Kual, he definitely had an impact when he came off the bench last week. He's doing the exact same thing tonight as he looks to try to get a regular starting spot in this lineup. He's done everything he possibly could so far. He still has a big say to see if Thunder can turn this 2-2 scoreline into a victory here at Summer Street. John Basetto rides a few challenges and in the end gets the foul, and Lockie Keevers this time will go to the yellow card for Marafiotti. He's had a few challenges. Nikola Jokovic is trying to move the ball a little bit quick as Keevers now gets his notepad out and scribbles in the number 21 for the Thunder.
Again, I think it's just going to be a matter of who here can take that next opportunity. you haven't really seen much of Hamish Watson in this second half. He was really dangerous, especially with his hold-up play and his link-up play in that first period. Again, they haven't really quite been able to get him involved in the latter parts of this second period, but a good chance here now. An opportunity on a set piece for the Melbourne Knights. It's going to be taken there by Jokovic, or sorry, Duncan rather. Ball over the top is headed clear. Comes out, and it will be a corner kick here for the Melbourne Knights. And, well, this is their moment. Big chance, set piece delivery. Really get control back in this game.
Historically, over the last couple of years, have been a very strong set-piece scoring side, the Knights. Swanson goes over in the box with a bit of push and shove. And now the Knights with this corner. Comes in, Sawali with a strong punch, but doesn't get it very clear. Watson fights for it. Passetto over the top, and in the end, Harley Orr gets it clear for the Thunder.
Yeah, well defended there again, and Swali, he is so strong in the air, so imposing and dominant off his line, and although he didn't get a real clean bite of that cherry there, just gives that security to his back four that he's going to be mopping everything up with those deliveries into the boxes. Thunder pressing high up here, and the ball comes back into central defence. Clipped inside, but poorly given away that time. Now an opportunity here for Nazari. He'll drive forward, finds Kuol. That time there couldn't quite keep it alive. And the Thunder will come forward on the break.
We are into the final 10 minutes. What has been a very entertaining game so far. Mikolic gets the throw in his advantage. Watson was in the box and he just couldn't back it up further enough to give him the run up to throw it towards him early. That wide, and have another chance for another throw, the Melbourne Knights.
Got to say, it's been a really enjoyable game, though, Ty, especially the second half. I think that, we obviously covered the game last week against South Melbourne as well, and the biggest difference here has just been the intensity, I think, of both sides in fighting for this result. And, as we said a bit earlier, the credit has to go to the Thunder, their character in being able to resolve themselves after such a poor first half, I think in the context of it, was just massive as that throw's taken into the box.
Harley Orr with the header, Stratometros away. Knights will get it back. In fact, they're going to do better than that. They get the foul. So Nikola Jurkovic has had an excellent game in midfield. The way he shielded the ball, and he's won fouls for his side in dangerous positions. He's one of the players who've come through the youth ranks here and such a strong connection with his grandfather and father at the club. And that's a good thing about the Melbourne Knights. They've got so many kids in this starting lineup and even on the bench that have come through the youth ranks.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, he did a bit of time out North Geelong as well, of course. And look, it is fantastic to see. They probably are one of the best exponents of bringing their youth team players through the system all the way through and into the senior side. Such a strong connection with their community. But now, a really good chance off this set piece.
Well, Jurkovic has got a habit of chirping in for a goal here and there. Cross comes in, doesn't beat the man at the near post. Kuol, and that is a heavy challenge. Surely a yellow card is now going to come out to the Melbourne Knights man.
Yeah, I think he had to make that challenge. It was a poor delivery at first. Kuol was going to break forwards and into his stride, straight at that sort of two-man defence with Barnes. And look, a little bit of frustration as well, creeping over. But that delivery's got to be so much better from Yildiz. Late in the game, got numbers forward. They've already looked very dangerous on the counter-attack, the Dandenong Thunder. Got to say there, really disappointed with that. But again, really is difficult to pick. This last 10 minutes has been so up and down. I think that the Melbourne Knights have done well, to be fair, to recover some sort of control in this game. But Dandenong, we know how dangerous they're looking on the break. It's almost changed completely. The first half was the Knights were breaking so effectively and dangerously.
It's like the sides have just swapped shirts.
Fantastic to see as that ball goes high over the top, and now a chance maybe for the Thunder to keep it in their attacking half. Haven't had too much of it in the last 10 or so minutes, as we just mentioned. Nazari, good little turn in midfield. There's a chance for him to make a name for himself. It'd be now wide into Kuol. Chance to cross here low into the box and cleared away for a corner. You've got to say Nazari, he's been quiet tonight, but that type of turn and drive, that's what they'd be needing out of him. And a good little chance to break forward here and a set-piece opportunity here for the Thunder.
Barnes was quite eager to get to the corner, try to take it quickly. In the end, he waits for his defenders to get forward, and the shot is well blocked. Kuol once again now back to Barnes, near post. Knights get it clear. Mehmeti for the Thunder. As Thunder have pretty numbers forward. Pappy crosses it in. Offside flag goes up. The flag was up quite early as Marafiotti was about to strike on goal. But
yeah, great play. Great play again. You can just see how effectively they're finding that wide position now, and a good delivery in the box. He's just mistimed his run rather for that central area delivery. But again, looking dangerous as John Buscetto makes way.
He does make way, and Calvin Whitney, more of a central midfielder. Come across halfway through last year from NPL WA. Become such a solid player in the squad, and they've retained him for this year. Missed out on match week 1.
I think a solid performance from Buscetto tonight. You know, he was dangerous in that first half. Again, much like, you know, Albano out on the other side, just couldn't really get himself. He's in the second half as that ball drops all the way through. Swale brings him down, and it will be a penalty. Well, what a switch off there from the Dandenong Thunder defence. And Francis Swale just came straight through his man. I think it was Sheridan there who took the chance in thinking his goalkeeper was going to be there. Being a goalkeeper myself, it is such a massive frustration when a defender thinks that you're there and shields it that half a second too long. And my word, what a chance now for the Melbourne Knights, Chris. And you've got to say, again, for the Thunder, they've done so well to get back into this contest, to be letting their guard down like that and allow someone to slip into that space. Massive chance here.
Sheridan just has to clear that in that situation instead of waiting for the keeper. It was in his possession anyway, just had to get it clear. There's no doubt after that, Swale did bring down the attacker, and the Knights now for the chance to get level, get in front again.
This is it, and Hamish Watson, he's already buried one of these spot kicks into the bottom corner. Will he go the same side? Will he mix it up? But this is the moment here for the Melbourne Knights, late in the game. Hamish Watson steps up and scores! Same side, same result. He shushes those Thunder fans, and he's put the Melbourne Knights back in the lead here. What a smash and grab for them. And it's 3-2 at Summer Street on a Friday night in the NPL Victoria. What a night we're seeing here, Chris. And what a finish there from Hamish Watson.
What a confident penalty from the hammer, and the Kiwi striker has buried his second penalty of the night to restore the lead back to the Melbourne Knights. The Thunder have worked so hard to get back into this game in the second half, and they've only got a few minutes left to try to get back level. As I said, 3-3 last year. Can we see some more late drama?
Well, again, you just got to think what is going through the mind of Sam Almazi. You know, to be switching off like that, as we mentioned, and to concede like that. And Hamish Watson, you know, to his credit, you know, he kept his cool. He hasn't had too much of the ball in the second half, and he's done really well now to just convert that opportunity, because it's such high pressure, especially when you've already taken a penalty as well. And that can sometimes give the psychological advantage to the goalkeeper when you know that you've put it one side. Do you mix it up? Do you change your normal style? And he just kept his conviction there. He backed himself in to bury that, and it was a really well taken spot kick.
Just goals around the ground as well. Brent McGrath has got his third goal of the season, and he equalises for the Greens. Port Melbourne 1, Bentley Greens 1, 70-minute played. Hume City still lead Green Gully 55 minutes. It's almost half-time between Dandenong City and St Albans. That's 0-0. Suleimani, edge of the box for the Thunder. Now Barnes to fire it in. It's clipped away and will go out for a Thunder corner. Here's the chance to try to get back level again.
Yeah, I think that for the Thunder, it's just a matter of now they've got to take that next opportunity with just minutes remaining, and it's going to be a really good chance to just get numbers in the box. Everyone forward here for the Thunder.
Can they get this late equaliser near post? And it comes off the post. Ooh. So close to an Olympico. Well, this game's seen everything so far. Why not that? And in the end, Chakaroon was a bit more worried about the cross coming across into the box that it almost snuck in the near post.
Yeah, I think that all there that time. He hasn't meant that, I don't believe. He's already apologised to his teammates. He almost did catch the goalkeeper out. But again, just got to say, the delivery from that set piece, such a key moment. You know, you're late in it. You've just conceded. You've got to be making sure you're finding at least a target or creating some problems in that box as the Knights look to clip that ball over the top. Watson chases it down. He's brought down as well. It will be a free kick. Well, Hamish Watson again, he's had a massive impact tonight, Chris. Massive impact, not just with the 2 penalties, but again, attacking the ball with such ferocity in key areas and scenarios, gambling on those second balls, and that's what makes him, I think, one of the key players and key strikers really in this division in Victoria.
Well, Mercer Mehmedi just didn't see the danger of Watson coming in and probably should have been able to shield the ball away from him if he did see that Watson was coming in there in the blind side, but they do have this chance with this free kick. Connor Mcdonald, the Irishman, over the ball. Watson stays here on the near touchline. It crosses coming in. Harley Orr away. Dennis Yildiz can strike it from distance, but the big deflection will spin towards the corner, and the referee says a throw.
4 minutes of added time as well. And this is exactly where the Melbourne Knights will want the ball high in their defence and their attacking third, really just pinning the Dandenong Thunder deep in their line as we just see now how much do they have about them, the Melbourne Knights, to hold on to this result. Into the box, Watson flicking, turning, under some serious body pressure there. In the end, it does go out for a goal kick, and Swali will put it down and look to quickly get this ball forward for the Thunder.
Well, the Thunder left it to the 93rd minute last week to get their victory. They're going to have to get a stoppage time goal here tonight to get back level. Sivic is gone and trying to get the cross into the box. I think it's time that the Knights really should just be heading towards the corner in this game. Nazari, great first touch. And now the Thunder look to go forward.
Good ball over the top as well. Marafiotti looking to wrestle in with Duncan, who you've got to say has come on and done a job for the Melbourne Knights. He came on in a very key period, under intense pressure they were, and he's just, I think, the experienced nature we spoke of, Chris, just shoring up the game and slowing it down, not allowing those balls to drop in between the central defenders. Better communication as well. I think Franjic getting into midfield has been a big impact. I think you've got to say the changes from Stuart Munro to get them back in control of this game have been really critical, because you don't often see central defenders subbed out, especially in high-stakes games like this.
Now Hadi Chakaroon, the chance to take 30 seconds off the clock with the free kick. Ball's found its way all the way through to Hamish Watson. You know where he's going to be heading. And he gets the throw to the Melbourne Knights. Very disappointing of the Thunder there. Long ball over the top, just found Watson unmarked.
Yeah, again, he's just been so good at dropping in those pockets of space, getting the ball, using his body so well as well. We can just see there, keeping it in the corner. This is where they'll want it. Again, finds the touchline. In the end, it looks like he wasn't able to keep it in play. Well, the Thunder fans, they played such a big impact in getting them back into this contest. More or less have been silenced here by this Melbourne Knights side.
Sjokovic. Now Sheridan, this time he deals with it. Must admit it was his mistake of not clearing the ball that caused that confusion with him and Francis Sawali that led to the penalty, which restored the Melbourne Knights lead in this game. Happy to Orr, sliding challenge from both players. The referee is going to give a yellow card. I'm not too sure about that because both players were sliding in at the same time. In the end, the Knights get it back.
Well, it just looked like they stopped an attacking move as well there. I don't know why they've brought that back, but the ball's come over the top. Puppy centres down with the header, but the Knights still on the ball here, and there could be a bit of space as well, but well defended there by Kowal, who's had to come real deep to get himself into this here and drive forwards on it. Nazari cuts in, looks for the run ahead of him in Marafiotti, who's onside. He's got Barnes at the back post. He beats his man well and wins a corner. And well, we're in the final minute of stoppage time here, Chris. And you've got to say, it's now getting to the point of now or never.
Well, they take it short. I'm not sure why. It hasn't given the defenders a chance to get into the box. Harley Orr will strike. And now Pappy from range, and he slices it over the top. I just don't understand that quick corner from the Thunder.
Yeah, I don't know why they've done that and why he's shooting like that as well. Just a little bit of panic there from the central defender. He's 30 yards out. The ball's rolling towards him. They've got numbers in the area. That's where you've got to try and find someone's feet to get a real good, dangerous shot on goal. And well, you can see Brandon Barnes' frustration as Chakarun gets a little bit of the hurry up here. We are in the final moments of this game. Chuckarun's goal kick is short, and Barnes, he might just get there. Brandon Barnes is brought down by the goalkeeper, and the referee gives the free kick now. Chuckarun was last man. Surely he's got to go after that. He does.
Well,
what drama this would be, Chris.
Well, he's mopped up his own mistake. He had to not let Barnes get past him then. At that moment, he's just got to take the red card, and at least it gives the Knights the opportunity to set a wall in front of this free kick, but Hadi Chuckarun, he'd be disappointed with that. A poor goal kick. And potentially he's let his side down, but Dandenong Thunder, a chance to equalise with pretty much the last kick of the game now.
Oh, that was unbelievable. You've got to say to Brandon Barnes as well, I think the luck of a pre-season, as hard as it's to say, he just didn't have that burst to break away from that back four.
Especially now with all the substitutes taken, It's a matter of who's going to be taking the shirt.
Who's going to be going in goal? Who have they given it to there? Is it?
It looks like it might be Watson's put on the shirt.
No, I don't think it's Watson. It's Franjic, the captain, taking the responsibility on it, looks like. Is it Franjic? It's hard to tell from this angle, of course. It's hard to tell because he's not wearing his shirt.
Well, it looks like it is. It's Joey Franjic in goal, and he's here to try to...
You've got to get everyone in the wall here. You've got to get everyone in the wall here. You can't allow them to have a pocket to attack the goalkeeper side of this wall. Because, again, you have a player in goal. You don't have an experienced keeper. You don't want Brandon Barnes to have a sight here. You've got to get everyone in front of that wall so he doesn't have a key space to attack.
It is the perfect position. A player on each post as the wall's getting set up. That will allow the Thunder, though, to pretty much get in the eye line of the goalkeeper.
Well, again, you've got players on the post as well. It just allows, as you said, so many players to be in that 6-yard box.
Well, everybody back.
Jeez.
Slocky Keevers steps out the wall, gets that magic spray out. One final chance for Dandenong Thunder. One final piece of late drama here at Summer Street. There's Nazari, Barnes and Marafiotti, the three standing over the ball. As we wait to see who's going to take it. It's short to Barnes! Off the post! And Brandon Barnes has done it again!
Incredible!
Dandy Thunder with a late goal again. And the captain, it's another BB show for the Thunder. And they equalise. And look at the fans come celebrate.
And the full-time whistle has gone there, Chris. What a free kick that is from Brandon Barnes. And my word, I just said it to you there as well. You couldn't give him a pocket to attack that goal. Instead of having players on the post, just get everyone in the wall so he can't attack space because Franjic's positioning there, unfortunately, he's all over the place. He hasn't given himself a side of the ball. He hasn't given himself a side to protect in the wall. So he's allowed Barnes to really pick which side he's going to attack with that free kick. And, well, unbelievable finish there from Brandon Barnes.
Well, they've called him fat all game, the Knights fans, right in front of us, and he's just letting them know that Brandon Barnes is a superstar at this level, is Barnesy. The BB show rolls on into round 2. And big celebrations for the Thunder, Melbourne Knights. Well, once again, these defensive frailties have let them down again. Wow. A 2-0 lead, which they let slip to 2-2. They got themselves back in front with a late penalty, but then it was Hadi Chuckarun's goal kick, which would have probably been the last kick of the game. He buggered it up, Barnes one-on-one. Chuckarun had to make the challenge, red-carded, and from the resulting free kick, the Thunder did it perfectly.
Look, you got to feel for the keeper. You got to feel for him. You know, obviously, he's just made a calamitous mistake, which has cost them the result. And as simple as a goal kick, you know, all you're doing is you're getting underneath that, you're hitting a wide area. He's scuffed it, and to be fair, he's scuffed it a few times tonight. And, well, Brandon Barnes, though, you've got to give him absolute credit because in front of goal today, he was not as sharp as we're used to seeing him. And as we know, you know, he missed a big portion of pre-season. Yes, he went and played in Europe, but you can see, I think he's a little bit off his level of fitness. He did have a key impact in the final third with his delivery into the box and how dangerous he was. But, you know, he skied a few efforts and so late in the day, you know it's the last kick of the game. You know, you've set yourself up there, and to have the composure to find the corner is absolutely sensational from him. And look, again, you can't really blame Franjic, but it's just so difficult when you're stepping a player who's not a goalkeeper into goal for that last set piece. The positioning of the wall and having so many players in front of you, it's just not going to help anything. You know, you've got to just get a line in front of the ball, make sure you can see it the whole way through, and don't give him a pocket of space. As we said before, he took the free kick to attack. And that's what he did. He stood central in the wall. He didn't give himself a side to cover. And there, he allowed Barnes to just say, all right, I've just got to beat the wall. And either side, I'm going to get myself a shot on target. It'll probably be a goal. So, again, unbelievable, Chris. What a game of football tonight, though. An absolutely fantastic exponent of the NPL in Victoria here tonight.
Definitely, this incredible league lives up to its bill once again. Thank you for joining us at Knight Stadium here at Summer Street for another epic NPL Victoria game. It is Melbourne Knights 3, Dandenong City 3. Games are still going on around the state and around the country, so there's plenty of NPL Victoria streams still live if you want to jump across. But what a game it was, and with myself, Chris Gleeson and Brandon Galgano, thank you and good night.